For more than 50 years, the TV talent show has provided moments of drama, controversy,
Sharon has decided to leave the panel.
and pure elation.
Alexandra!
Tonight on the talent show story, it's the turn of the child stars to shine.
Lena Zavaroni, one of the greatest talents we had in this country.
She was just an ordinary wee lassie. That's what she was.
We look back at the nail-biting New Faces final that saw the emergence of a squeaky clean comedy star.
Me and Jimmy Tamley, the ventriloquist, were level pegging, and whoever got 12 votes on the next one was going to win it.
And it's time to face the music as we tell the story of how the X Factor took over Saturday nights.
When that screen opens on a Saturday night and my heart is pumping out of my chest, it is so nerve-wracking.
Your Saturday night starts right here!
Wembley Arena 2011. The X Factor has taken the talent show to new heights.
We are in front of 10,000 very excited people.
13 million viewers tune in to watch a spectacular show packed with drama,
Little Mix,
special effects, and some of the biggest names in the music industry. More than any other series, The X Factor demonstrates just how huge talent shows have become in the 21st century.
This is a talent show on another level.
It's a juggernaut. It's a massive juggernaut. And it's a worldwide juggernaut.
There's nothing more exciting than working on a show that the whole country wants to talk about.
Each week's a drama and it's a soap opera, and that's ultimately why it's still on air.
During the second series of Pop Idol, Simon Cowell decided to leave his role as judge and create his own talent format.
I think Simon Cowell had been planning X Factor during the second series of Pop Idol. I think he wanted more control. Even though he'd been so instrumental through the whole process, it wasn't his show.
I've got a headache, I'm tired, and I'm getting emotional.
Once I got the idea in my head to make X Factor, and it was a fairly logical thing to do, which was to expand the age range, let the judges actually do something, rather than just commentate. The first job was I had to get ITV to take it instead of Pop Idol.
You can't be a fool, son. What about the long run?
But it's not what we're looking for.
So I had to go in and say, look, this is the show I want to make, with or without you.
I think Simon has such an enormous presence on screen. So the big decision really was whether we wanted X Factor on another channel, and the answer was a resounding no.
50,000 people with one dream.
To be singing, to be on TV and singing, that's all I want to do.
To the now familiar strains of Carmina Burana and a very deep voice narrator, the X Factor exploded onto our screens in September 2004.
Welcome to the X Factor.
Unlike Pop Idol, it opened up the competition to older performers and groups, and crucially, it would pit the three judges against each other as rivals.
The idea of the judge rivalry was something that was very, very key to this show. Unlike Pop Idol, the judges weren't just going to judge, they were eventually going to mentor these acts and they were going to go against each other.
All Simon needed now was some sparring partners beside him on the judging panel.
I approached Pete Waterman first, and he basically said no.
Yes or no?
No. It wasn't for what I wanted to do with my life at that point, and I still wouldn't want to do it. I needed a break. I decided that it wasn't for me anymore.
And I always, in my mind, thought if he says no, I'd love to work with Louis, because I'd worked with Louis for years. And Louis, great manager, and I thought this would be fun. And of course he said yes. It took about a million to the second.
The best thing was I met Simon Cowell and he put me on the X Factor. It's been the best journey of my life. It's the best job in the world most of the time.
With Simon and Louis in place, the producers pursued a woman who they thought would spice things up.
We wanted Mel B. It was taking time to get the deal right, and in the end, we were in Simon's house in Los Angeles, and somebody said, what about Sharon Osbourne?
The Osbournes at that point were huge. I said, I don't think you'll get her.
We just picked up the phone, asked her if she was interested in doing it, and without even knowing what the deal was, she said, I'll do it. You know, thank God for Sharon. I mean, she brought so much to the show.
You look like two strippers have just come in here and started to sing.
I didn't really know Sharon very well, but she was fiery and she was feisty, and she didn't care what Simon thought.
Do you think he needs a reality check?
I think you do, actually.
I bloody think you do, and I think I'm going to give it to you right now.
The X Factor has taken the drama and emotion of the auditioning process to new extremes.
Louis Waltz, you're down Westlife, they're okay, but you're an
And of course, it's also discovered some fantastic talent.
Thank you.
Wow, our first audition was insane. I mean, people always say, oh, you must be really nervous singing in front of thousands of people, and it's like, no. The most nervous I've ever been. Simon, Cheryl, Danny and Louis.
The very first time that I saw your brown eyes, your lips said hello, and I said hi, 'cause I knew right then you were the one.
I remember the day JLS walked on, and they were just full of it. They were full of enthusiasm and personality, and they looked good, and they sang brilliantly.
Satisfaction, baby, you are more than...
One of the best feelings of our lives, you know, was getting those initial 4 yeses. You know, we went through the double doors and Dermot was waiting there to interview us, and we just totally, he wasn't even there, didn't even exist. We just shot past Dermot, just ran to our friends and family like bouncing kangaroos. It was wicked.
In 2008, Alexandra Burke faced the X Factor judges for the second time. She'd first passed her audition 3 years earlier, but failed to make it through to the live shows.
I walk into that room and I'm so nervous. I've never felt so nervous at this point because I'm scared of rejection. And Simon goes, I remember you.
We know you, right?
You know me.
I do.
3 years ago.
She was nearly through. I didn't pick her.
I sang Saving All My Love for You, Whitney Houston. But no other man's gonna do. So I'm saving all my love for you.
Thank you.
I kind of just stopped and froze. At this point, I lift my head up and I've just burst into tears because I can't believe my luck. And then Cheryl starts crying. This means so much to me, you don't understand. In 2004, I lost my grandfather. And all I could think about was him being there, his presence there.
I was just blown away. I think you're amazing. I've got goosebumps.
Still to this day, nothing can top that moment. Just getting past that door, the first audition, that for me was when the road started.
By 2009, the X Factor had become one of the biggest shows on television, but it was about to get even bigger.
I think maybe what I've brought to talent shows is probably scale. If you look back on New Faces and Opportunity Knocks, I mean, it all feels a bit small, and you have the City Clapometer and whatever. We brought money into these shows and wanted it to look bigger than anything else. I wanted it to get better every year.
This year, all around Britain, the auditionees now have to perform in front of not only the 4 judges, but an audience of thousands.
Moving the auditions into a big theatre, gaining a 5th judge as the audience you knew if someone had it on stage, because a lot of people can sing, but can they perform?
It's a weird thing when you first walk out on the X Factor, I've got to say. You've got the nerves, of course, because you know you've got to perform, the excitement because you're on one of the biggest TV shows in the country, and you're like, oh, God. And then, you know, you've still got the 4 judges in front of you. I didn't think too much about everything that was going on around me. I just did my job, and I did try and forget that the show was so big.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall.
It's a fantastic feeling. It's one of the best feelings I'll take away from it.
For For those who made it through the early stages, the X Factor soon offered a taste of the jet-set lifestyle as they performed to their celebrity judges in glamorous locations across the world.
When we thought about wanting to do judges' houses, we wanted it to be a bit like Lives of the Rich and Famous. For the contestants, you go, oh, hang on a minute, if I do really well, I could have a little piece of this.
Now there's just no chance for you and me. There'll never be.
You know, you've got one chance outside a nice swimming pool in a generic European or American location, which is one of our judges' houses. They own many houses around the world.
I don't know what is after.
Louis, for example, we went to Barcelona. I can't believe he's kept that to himself for so long. In my 5, 6, 7 years of friendship with Louis, he's never mentioned it once.
We had gone from this very student lifestyle with not much responsibility to rolling up at Simon's mansion in Marbella.
Nothing's fine, I'm torn.
Singing for our chance to go on the live show. So for us, it was a complete turnaround, really. It was really weird.
Judges' houses it's so beautiful because you're in your own space and it's intimate and the performers are really bearing their soul and do incredible intimate performances.
See your true colours shining through.
It was to be a particularly nerve-wracking experience for Alexandra Burke as she went through the same ordeal for the second time in 3 years.
It was my turn to sing, and I didn't even want to look at Cheryl, and I just thought, I can't stare you in the face. I closed my eyes throughout the whole of the song.
You don't know what I'm feeling. I'm more than what you made of me.
And then we had to wait 24 hours to find out who got through.
And I really didn't want to be the person to do this to you again. But I've had to make the decision.
Oh my God. When she says that, I was just like, you don't need to say anymore. You've just said again, you know? I know what you're about to say.
You're in my final three.
I look back at it now, I'm like, I'm nearly breaking her neck. It's ridiculous. I was really grateful for the second chance.
But as well as the joy of putting people through, for the judges, there's also the pain in sending some home.
You bring them so far, you give them a taste of what it's like to be a pop star, and you have to send 3 of them home.
You're going home. I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. You've been fantastic to work with.
Until then, you have a desk and a stage between you and the acts, but on the judges' houses, it's the first time you really get to look in the whites of their eyes. And especially when you've got to tell half of your category that they're not going to make it, it was a full-on couple of days, that was.
Joe, I'm sorry, mate. You're not going to make my final 4.
How am I going to say to people, I'm sorry, but I'm about to crush your dreams? And it was just really hard. Guys, I'm so sorry, but I can't take you through to the live finals.
It's been a long... I'm sure they think he's a bastard. You know, but they can't say it, and it's awful. It is awful.
For the contestants that do get through, it's time to face the music in the X Factor live shows.
The 30 seconds before you go on air are the most electric 30 seconds you can ever experience. You can't hear anything in your ear. The director's trying to cue you. You can't really hear it. You just hear a muffled kind of countdown. The music starts and Peter Dixon's voice kicks in.
Get ready, Britain! Live from London!
And you're there going, I'm the host of the biggest show on television, and there is just no better feeling.
The X Factor judges.
When that screen opens on a Saturday night, my heart is pumping out of my chest. It is so nerve-wracking.
The X Factor final has become the perfect example of 21st century event TV, and one where 3 lucky acts get the chance to perform with some of the most famous names in the music business.
Please welcome my hero, Beyonce.
The fact that on the final,
you could be up there singing with one of your all-time musical heroes. It's so exciting.
It's great to see someone